Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of KISS, Keep It Simple Seafood, presented by BECU with our nutrition sponsor, Alaska Gold Seafood. Today we are in the Aslan kitchen with Executive Chef Nick Shelly. And today we are going to be making a seasonal dish that they have here called Salmon Chowder. So let's get started and we will see how things get done.
Hi, my name is Nick Shelly. I'm the executive chef at Aslan Brewing Company. We have some wonderful salmon from Alaskan Gold here that we are going to prepare and make our salmon chowder. Just going to do a light coating of salt and pepper over top of all these guys, and then just a little bit of oil too. So we're going to take this tray of salmon and throw them in the oven for about 15 minutes just to get some nice color on them and cook them through for the salmon soup. I have a wide bottom pot on medium-low heat, starting to get ready to throw some mirepoix in. Mirepoix is just celery, carrots, and onions, the holy trinity of the things that would go into a soup for French cooking. We want to make sure that our pot is at a nice medium high so that we're actually getting color on our veggies when we add them in there. We don't want to throw in cold vegetables. Okay, so we're just looking to get a little bit of color on these just so that we can bring out the flavor, get some nice translucent onions, and then we can start adding other stuff to build the soup. We're waiting about 5 to 6 minutes just to get some nice color, make sure our onions are translucent. So you can see the vegetables are starting to release their moisture, and you can see the onions are starting to wilt a little bit and turning a little bit more translucent, but we're almost there. So one thing I like to do when I add my garlic is add a little bit of oil in the middle and then add the garlic directly into it, so you can kind of create more sear on the garlic and quickly actually bloom it so that you're getting more flavor in there without having to mix it in with everything else. Got half a cup of white wine in here, and deglazing is just so that we can get all of, if there was fond in the bottom of the pot, we can scrape that up and we can get all the flavors off. And white wine adds a nice rich flavor into everything so that we can really make sure that we are getting that full-bodied flavor out of everything. Once that wine is reduced out of there, then we can start adding our liquids, and then we are ready to start combining to make soup. So this is salmon stock that we made with the whole salmons that we had. We took the bones and added water and carrots and celery and onions and reduced it down and boiled it for about 3 hours to create salmon stock. This is basically what makes this soup so good, is the salmon stock. It really adds a lot of flavor. Then we're good to add our milk. And then we are going to add our heavy cream. I par cooked these potatoes so that they can finish in the soup. They are just partially cooked so that they are a little bit fork tender, but they are still a little hard so that they're not going to completely fall apart when they're thrown into the soup. And then we just have some lemon juice for some acidity. Now we can switch to a whisk because we got everything in there. We can really start working everything around. Salmons are looking great. You can see that they're starting to break apart because they're cooked through. You can see that nice color on all of them. They're ready to go. Just let those cool for a minute. So now we can take our butter and throw it into a pan and start melting it so that we can add our flour and create our roux. Roux are a little bit finicky and they do take a lot of time, and they just need you to be very attentive with them. But if you focus on them and just give them the attention that they need, they should not be a problem. There is just an insane amount of difference in the quality and taste of something that has been not processed too much. The amount of difference that you will taste in your food as you have fresher ingredients will really just, it shines through. You'll be able to really feel and taste the the fact that it wasn't ran through a bunch of different factories. It was just right down the road, and you can really get that full flavor that you get through when produce is fresh like that. We just want to get this down to like a golden blonde. So you can see all that flour is just combined with the butter, and it just becomes this paste that when added into soups, it emulsifies with all the liquid and creates a nice viscosity that is very good mouth feel, and it sticks well to a spoon and just gives you that full body chowder flavor and full body texture that you're looking for in a chowder. So we're just gonna keep our eyes open and be checking this pot too, making sure that we're not getting up too hot and sticking or burning on the bottom, because cream-based soups are a little finicky in that way. So we just want to really make sure that we're continuously stirring it as it brings up to a simmer. As you start to cook it down, you'll start to really start smelling that nutty flavor. As soon as fall and winter hits, I'm just way more into trying to stick with the seasons and cooking things that are gonna warm the soul and keep you nice and cozy on the inside. So you can see that this roux is starting to hit that blonde color. We're starting to pass that phase of like a light grayish. It's starting to actually look a little bit like golden blonde, a little bit more light. So I would say that we're ready to start adding this into our soup. Now that our roux is ready and our stock pot is ready to go, we can start adding in our roux and start to thicken this boy, and then we can work on breaking down our salmon and adding that into here as well. So I'm just gonna take a rubber spatula and add this in slowly, and we will whisk her in there. You want to add your roux in slowly. You don't want to just add it in directly. It'll start to spurt and spurt all over because of the oil and the butter combining with the liquid. And it will also clump, so you don't want that to be an issue when you are trying to create a chowder that is supposed to be nice and smooth and velvety. All right, you can see it's starting to get a little bit more thickness to it because of the roux. And we can add this last little bit. Get it nice and thickened up. Now that our salmon is cooled and everything is roasted and ready to go, these bad boys can just be lifted right off of here as best we can. The skin is going to just peel right off, so we can just take it by the back end and just pull it right out of here. We should be getting as much meat yield as we possibly can since we roasted the skin in there with it, so can really pull everything out of here and get as much from the salmon as we can. So we can literally just take it in our hands. We can take this pan right here, take the salmon and just break it apart with our hands so that it's ready for the soup. This salmon was provided to us by Alaskan Gold, our nutrition sponsor. It's very awesome of them to be able to provide that for us so that we can do fun stuff like this. And then we can just add it directly into our soup or our chowder. Just handfuls at a time. Now that we've got that in there, we can just give it a nice little stir and incorporate all of the salmon and make sure it's in there. You can see it's got that nice thickness since we added our roux. It's not loose and creating this not soup-like or chowder-like texture. It's actually sticks to the spoon, gives you this nice runny, drippy. So you can stick a spoon into the stock or into whatever you're creating and take a finger, draw a line in it. And if you can drag it like this and it doesn't drip through the line that you just rained through there, then you are at the perfect thickness. So the last bit that we have here is just a little bit of chives and parsley. This is just gonna be our garnish for the soup. So now we are at the funnest part, tasting. Here we got everything all incorporated and added together. We just want to, at the very end, season to taste so that we make sure that we are not oversalted or undersalted. It's a big thing with cooking is you can always add more, but you can never take out. And then we'll try a little bit just to get an idea of what we're tasting here. That's great, but I think it needs a little bit more salt. That's why we added a little bit and not all that we needed, because you can always add more. Absolutely perfect. Whew. That's the Aslan Salmon Chowder.
Nick has made this amazing Aslan chowder, salmon chowder, and expected here in the fall when it does come in. I'm very much looking forward to tasting this because he knocked this out very quickly. It did not take him that long. So it is an easier dish to do, and it's really robust and flavorful. So we're going to dive in and taste it now.
Most definitely. Very exciting.
Yep, that's chowder. That is some amazing chowder. And it's not overly fishy, where most people would think salmon has an overly fishy taste to it. The way you bake that and then added that in makes all the difference in the world.
Most
Really
definitely.
does. Yeah. Nice job.
Yeah,
Very
thank you
nice
so
job.
much.
Yeah.
Glad
Thanks
to
for
hear.
doing this.
Of course.
Once again, this has been another episode of KISS Keep It Simple Seafood. I'm Kevin Coleman with the program director here at Bellingham Sea Feast. We want to thank BECU for being the presenting sponsor. We also want to thank Alaska Gold Seafood for not only the seafood, but also being our nutrition sponsor. And we want to thank Aslan and Nick Shelly for creating an amazing dish today. Stay tuned for more, and thanks again for watching.
Thanks for having me.